The story about Šlomović art collection is one of the most mysterious tales in the art world. First, I will state the facts and then I will analyze what might have happened. Who was Šlomović? Erich Šlomović was born in a Jewish family in Croatia in 1915. At the time, Croatia was part of Habsburg Empire. After World War I, Croatia joined the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes. The new country would later change its name to Yugoslavia. In 1923, Šlomović family moved to Belgrade. We don't know much about their financial situation, but they opened a shoe store. The fact is that they had enough money to send Erich to France to attend school. Erich decided he liked the art world. Paris was the perfect place to start a career as art dealer. Šlomović worked for Ambroise Vollard. He was described as Vollard's protégé and personal assistant. Vollard was one of the most famous art dealers of all time. He worked with Cézanne, Renoir, Picasso, Gauguin, Van Gogh, Chagall, Degas. Many artists painted Vollard's portraits, including Picasso. Vollard was born in 1866, which means he was 49 years older than Šlomović. In 1939, Vollard died in a car accident. We don't know how long Šlomović worked for Vollard. Some sources state he worked for Vollard since 1937 or 1938. Vollard's estate was divided between his brother Lucien and his longtime mistress. A few months after Vollard's death, World War II started. Šlomović decided to go back to Yugoslavia. He had a collection consisting of approximately 600 pieces. He left 200 pieces at Bank Vault in Société Générale Bank in Paris. He used his father's name instead of his own when renting the vault. Šlomović took remaining 400 pieces to Zagreb. In 1940, he organized an exhibition in Zagreb. He was planning to have exhibitions in Ljubljana and Belgrade in spring 1941. Alas, Yugoslavia was attacked by the Axis on 6 April 1941. Šlomović family decided to hide in Serbia. Erich, his brother Egon, and parents Bernard and Rosa went to Serbian village Bačina. They hid there for several months. Šlomović's collection was hidden behind a wall. In late 1941, men from Šlomović family were arrested by Germans. They were taken to Staro Sajmište concentration camp. We believe they were gassed to death sometime in 1942. It is unclear how Rosa managed to stay hidden. Rosa lived long enough to see the liberation of Yugoslavia. Rosa contacted politician Ivan Hribar to talk to him about her son's collection. She wanted to establish a museum in the memory of her son. Yugoslav authorities agreed to give her alimony for the rest of her life in exchange for the paintings. In December 1944, Rosa traveled with the artwork on the train to Belgrade. There was a train accident and Rosa died. Rosa's cousin Mara took the artwork. Yugoslav authorities later took the artwork from Mara. Šlomović collection became part of National Museum in Belgrade. The peculiar fact was that the collection was kept away from the public. Now we come to 1979. Société Générale opened the vault because no one was paying fees. The bank policy was to open safes after 40 years. They discovered part of Šlomović collection. The long court battle followed. There were 3 sides involved. Vollard as, Šlomović as, and Yugoslav government. Now we leave the world of facts and start speculating. Vollard as claimed that Šlomović wasn't actual owner of the collection. They said Šlomović worked as sales agent for Vollard. He was given 600 pieces of art to sell in Yugoslavia. This means Šlomović had permission to take the art. But there are no documents regulating things between Vollard and Šlomović. Vollard's friends said he liked to work without paperwork. The thing is that Vollard's heirs didn't ask for Šlomović collection before 1980. It is unclear if they knew about the artwork in Šlomović possession. How is this possible if we are talking about 600 pieces of artwork? Wouldn't someone notice they were missing? Vollard had stored 10,000 artworks. Theoretically, it is possible that Šlomović took 600 pieces without anyone noticing it. Another story claims that Šlomović worked with Vollard's brother Lucien, that it was Lucien who gave the artwork to Šlomović. However, Šlomović never hid the fact he had the artwork. He organized public exhibition and talked about establishing a museum. Would he act this way if he knew the artwork belonged to someone else? Vollard's immediate heirs had no problem with Šlomović. Many pieces of artwork were stolen, destroyed, or lost during World War II. It is possible Vollard's heirs believed Šlomović's collection was destroyed or lost. Perhaps they believed it wasn't worthy enough to try to find these pieces. Šlomović's collection consisted of prints and drawings and only few important paintings. Yugoslav government claimed that Šlomović and Vollard were romantically involved. They said Šlomović acquired his collection through exchange, gifts, purchases, and donations. Vollard's friend said he was neither generous nor gay. Vollard wouldn't make such gifts to Šlomović. But some art pieces were given to Šlomović by artists themselves. It is possible that the collection was a mishmash of the art Šlomović owned and the art he was supposed to sell for Vollard. In this case, it would be hard to separate pieces. Everyone involved is long dead and cannot vouch for each artwork. Why did Šlomović leave part of the collection in France? Why did he use his father's name, Bernard Šlomović? One art critic wondered why Germans left the bank vault under Jewish name unopened. During World War II, Germans took artwork from Holocaust victims. But would the Germans in Paris know that Bernard Šlomović was Jewish? Yugoslav names were often misspelled, like Šlomović and Šlomović. Since Šlomović had suffix "ić", he might have been considered as South Slav. Most people in Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Montenegro have suffix "ić". Then there is the fact Yugoslavia was a poor country. Would Vollard consider Yugoslavia as the right place to sell 600 pieces of artwork? Modern art wasn't very popular in Yugoslavia. Selling 600 pieces would take years. It is possible that Vollard gave less valuable pieces to Šlomović to help him open a modern museum in Belgrade. This would help him promote modern art and establish market for modern art in the future. It is hard to prove or disprove Vollard and Šlomović were romantically involved. Homosexuality was seen as a crime in the past. Homosexuals were arrested and publicly shamed. Neither Vollard nor Šlomović would be open about their sexuality. Šlomović never married, but he was only 27 when he died. He might have married later in life. Only Šlomović and Vollard know how close they were. The legal battle about the content of the vault ended in 2006. The majority of pieces were given to Vollard's heirs. Šlomović's heirs were given some pieces that were dedicated to him. The artwork was sold in 2010 for €30 million or $43 million. Then why did I say the collection had less valuable pieces? We have to remember that in 1939 the artwork was much cheaper than it is today. Most modern artists achieved true fame after World War II. This means that prints and drawings were less valuable in 1939. In 1939, Vollard could afford to give away artwork. Next is the problem with Belgrade part of Šlomović's collection. Did Rosa Šlomović really donate the artwork? The politician who arranged it was Ivan Ribar. As far as I know, Ribar was a decent man. I never heard anything bad being said about him. Ribar lost both his sons during World War II, which means he understood Rosa's grief. The artwork was given to National Museum in Belgrade. But some sources say that Šlomović's cousin Mara was selling some pieces, and that's how Yugoslav government learned about the collection. One book claimed that Yugoslav government bugged US embassy in Belgrade. Yugoslav Secret Service heard about the paintings Mara wanted to sell. They found Mara and took the paintings from her. In 1949, National Museum got 360 pieces from Šlomović collection. It was known that Šlomović brought 429 pieces to Yugoslavia. What happened to the rest of the collection? Yugoslav government took the artwork based on the fact Šlomović had no heirs, but Šlomović had distant cousins who moved to Israel. People also wonder why National Museum was secretive about the collection. In 2014, a court battle began over Šlomović collection in Belgrade. Since 1980s, Yugoslav government was more open about Šlomović. In 1989, Yugoslavs made a highly fictional movie about Šlomović. The donator was directed by famous Veljko Bulejić. In 2004, Serb writer Momo Kapor wrote a book about Šlomović called Dosije Šlomović. Serbian newspapers write about Šlomović every few years. One article claims that Šlomović brought his collection to Yugoslav embassy in Paris. Yugoslav ambassador helped Šlomović transport the collection to Yugoslavia. Contemporary Yugoslav press claimed that Šlomović was going to sell part of his collection to local museums. Yugoslav regent Prince Pavle was interested in buying part of the collection for his museum. This would explain why Volar would give artwork to Šlomović, if Šlomović told him he had secured buyers in Yugoslavia. Then there is Martin Fabiani, Corsican mobster. Fabiani had business dealings with Volar. One theory claims that Volar's car accident was arranged by Fabiani. We don't know much about the connection between Fabiani, Volar's brother Lucien, and Šlomović. What if they all conspired together? The number of possibilities is endless. The lack of evidence makes all theories possible. The fog of War II covered everything. Though I have to say it is strange for Šlomović to amass such huge collection in such short time. He got 600 art pieces in 2 years. But this can be explained if he was trying to start his own business as art dealer. Will National Museum in Belgrade manage to keep the collection? From a legal point of view, this is beyond chaotic. First, the real owner should be recognized. It's either Volar or Šlomović. Second, it should clear legal status of Rosa's Šlomović donation. Did she sign any documents? If Rosa made legal donation, then Šlomović's heirs have no case. Once donated object cannot be part of inheritance. But if Yugoslav government took the artwork based on the fact Šlomović had no heirs, then heirs can build their case on the fact they exist. This opens a whole new chapter about proving the family connection. The synagogue in Šlomović's birthplace was destroyed with all the registry books. Only God knows how long the process will last. What do I think? The artwork should belong to the rightful owner, whoever that might be. Based on my limited legal knowledge, I cannot say who the legal owner is. I also wonder how Volar regulated the situation with artists. Were they paid in advance, or were they getting the money after the sale? If they weren't paid, then their heirs also have some rights. The shady world of art makes everything 10 times harder. I think every piece of the collection should be seen a separate case. But I am afraid there is not enough evidence for such detailed investigation.